Chandler Bing.
Bing! 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 You're okay.
In football, there is a phrase. You have great goal scorers, and then you have scorers of great goals. Many actors boast careers with Oscar-nominated movie after Oscar-nominated movie, whilst others have box office hit after box office hit. Although it's not so often, as an actor, that you have that one role that not only connects with the viewer, but connects with viewers forever, transcending generations, even picking up Gen Z.
Beckham could raise the roof here with a goal. I don't believe it.
Now that's a great goal. Friends first aired on September the 22nd, 1994, and the last was on May the 6th, 2004. 10 years later, 52.5 million people sat and watched the one where they say goodbye. If that was a featured release at a cinema with each person paying a $10 cinema ticket, I know you're gonna just let me cook, then that amount would equal $525 million, which would have been the biggest opening day of this year by far. Yes, it's only a 22-minute episode, so who's paying $10 for that in the cinema? But equally, those TV figures are counting each house, which probably had more than one person sitting on the TV watching that episode, so it's an estimation. I said let me cut. Basically, Friends is pretty huge. It covers the globe. I've met many people who have learned English through watching Friends, and therefore they also learned Chandler Bing's smart-ass sarcastic humor along with it. Like, this video being called the Chandler Bing effect is less some phenomenon. Like, it's not the Chandler Bing effect, it's the Chandler Bing effect, as in the effect of Chandler Bing. I struggle to say that name. It's not a very English name. But now, naturally, looking back at a group of friends in the 90s easily presents a bunch of, by today's standards, problematic traits. You can find articles for why Chandler Bing is a awful friend, or why Ross Geller is probably clinically insane. But intentionally or not, Friends depicted a realistic dynamic of friends, living in, albeit maybe unrealistic living conditions, traversing a period of life that seems so unpopular right now. School and university seems to be the most popular place and the most popular age groups to present relatable characters these days and their struggles. And to be fair, the definition of a coming of age story is the growth of protagonists from childhood to adulthood, and the Friends characters, despite their actions, were not technically by age children. It feels like that definition is being taken way too literally these days to show characters that go through change in coming of age stories. Like, as you get older, you notice there's no real point where things change and you now feel like an adult, especially if you don't go through the required steps depicted by current coming of age stories, whether that just be trivial things like going to university or getting a car, or more fucking wild things like becoming a drug addict or having a summertime crazy age gap relationship. A lot of people just have, you know, by those standards, boring lives. And then some people go and chase those things because cinema makes you believe that you need to do those things to either live life or help you find yourself. And maybe it does help you do those two things, but in reality a lot of people are living life, but it's just a lot less crazy and visually beautiful, to be fair, as many of these things you see in films. In Friends, we meet our protagonists between the ages of 24 and 26, and bearing in mind most coming of age stories seem to end with a character being like 17, Friends has characters who haven't yet grown up or figured out who they are, despite moving out, having weddings, and well-paid jobs. I love films, and I watch a hell of a lot more of it than TV, but I'd argue TV is the best place to hold coming-of-age stories, where you have more time and it feels like more down-to-earth, tangible, and therefore relatable characters and stories. In the way it's written, in the way it looks. As good as films like Lady Bird are, and even though I walk out of films like that feeling like I relate heavy to the character or whatever, I also walk out of those films playing an imaginary soundtrack in my head, getting on the train and looking out the window as if I'm being filmed by Greta Gerwig herself. After I watch Friends, I don't know, I just walk away. I don't really think about it, I just go about my day, you know what I mean? With maybe like an underlying satisfaction or message there, I don't know. I guess it has left a greater impact on me. And maybe something making you feel that way, there's something more to be said for that. It's not egregious. I don't immediately notice it, but it's clearly there. You hear it today in people's references, in how they speak, in memes, and you recognize it as a comfort blanket show. With the nicest asset of this blanket being that it isn't purely nostalgia based. Like, you put it on and you immediately realize it's not just comforting and relatable, it's a situational comedy, and it is indeed still funny. Like, it's still, you know, it still knows the assignment. Also, like, Chandler's great. I think I don't even necessarily relate mainly with Chandler as the character out of the 6 friends. I actually think I mostly relate with Joey. And that actually does kind of make sense because Chandler, Joey's best friend in the show, is a character I rate and consider the best friend in Friends. He has qualities I rate and admire but don't necessarily desire, or think I could even possess. And like, for me, the lyrics of the theme tune obviously echo every character, but I've always naturally heard them as if they were coming directly from Chandler specifically. I'll be there for you when the rain starts to pour. I'll be there for you like I've been there before. I'll be there for you because you'd be there for me too. I mean, come on, what, is it just me? I do really like Friends. It's funny, basically, and I like the characters, specifically Chandler for what I mentioned, and Ross because I find him actually to be the funniest in the show. But I also just wanted to make this in general to be an overarching video on friendships and young adults who effectively could also be called old children. Same thing, you know. I saw a trending video on YouTube called "I'm 25 and have no friends" that I think a lot of people really fall into and could relate to. So I think the importance of those relationships are probably undervalued, as friendship is not something most people source, but rather just like falls into your lap in your life. But yeah, so thanks for watching this video, and thanks Matthew Perry.